Why is that? Main reason is this one dates from much farther back, 1470, but it's been destroyed in World War II. And that's the first time I'll say that of probably 50 times today of the buildings you'll see. Most of them have been destroyed. So in 1975, this building's been rebuilt. So not that old, and it looks quite new and clean today. And if you take a look at it, it looks like they made it in an old style, so to rebuild it in the same way. But today it's not old stones, old bricks, it's just cement with painted lines. And I'll see this a couple times in Munich to save money after the war. It's actually a French trick. Concrete or stucco, and they'll just paint lines to trick your eye. Trick your eye. Now the town hall where we're watching our bell play. And this song sounds very different than normal, so I must be tuning it or something lately today. The new town hall is only 101 years old, 1908, from the original building. But I've mentioned to a couple of you, built in the style called Gothic that was popular in the 14th, 15th century, right? So about 500 years after its time, so it makes it much older. And also one of the only buildings downtown Munich that pretty much survived the war. Everything else being destroyed.
The oldest town administration that happened in Munich.
Absolutely. Mayor is here in Munich. His most important job happens in a little under 2 weeks, where he taps the first keg for Oktoberfest. You guys get back home, you'll see him on your TVs there. Unless you're here for it, I suggest you stay for Oktoberfest. It's a good time. So now you're watching, you'll see the two scenes, but the bells that are playing the song for you are in the very far top tower, these green bells. Now it's about to start, the first scene on the top here of the two. So you're seeing two scenes in Munich history, almost in a slow motion version of it, right? It's not too fast here anymore. But this has to do with 16th century Munich. And the one you're seeing now, I'll mention about this guy later as well. You see a man and a woman in the background being circled by these guys. This is the man ruling Bavaria in 1568. He would get married, named Duke Wilhelm V, and his wife Renata of Lorraine, which is part of France, eastern France. They would get married in the royal palace, you'll see, and they'd have a big party right where we're standing in the Marienplatz, the center of Munich. They invite the whole city to it, and about a week-long party. And so you're seeing a reenactment of the night. So you see dancers and musicians going around, and then at the end of it, they had a huge knight jousting tournament. So you see a knight from Bavaria right now, blue and white, a knight from France, red and white, where each of them are from, and you'll see a little battle. They do a friendly pass at first, next time they come around, it's a big violent pass. And who do you think will win? Pretty dumb question. Feel bad for the French. They've been losing at least 3 times a day for a little over 100 years. But I'm sure if you saw this in France,
So is this automated or does somebody ring the bell?
It took them actually spending exactly 1908. So it took them 8 years to build. It was just a big donation from the local city of Munich, and it was shown as kind of the inauguration of the big town hall. And it took them a while to build because they're all almost lifeless. They got them hand carved out of wood and hand painted. To get the mechanics working at the time, it took them a little while. So these are really bad. Running quickly from the side. That was it for the top suit. Now you'll see the one underneath it with a new song. And these songs, by the way, are songs from old German composers. Richard Wagner, the famous opera singer. So now what you're seeing underneath it is also happening in 1515. And this has to do with the big plague that was coming to Munich. Munich in the history was hit by 24 different plagues. hard. Often about a third of the population is lost. This would be another very bad one, 1515. What these men are most famous for in Munich, they're called the Schäffler, or Cooper. Anybody know what Coopers is? These guys are particularly gentlemen. And in Munich, of course, you need them for beer. They did have for salt as well. They're a pretty important job. What they're most famous for here is the dance they're doing, the Cooper's dance, they call it. And this had to do with plague. You can imagine everyone was set up in their houses afraid to come outside and catch the plague, which they thought but the Schäfflers, after the big plague was gone, were the first to come out on the streets and to do this dance called the chain dance. And the main reason they did it was to get people out of their houses, let them know the plague was gone, to get the business of the city to drink and beer again, right? Exactly. I'm sure their main focus was to get their beer selling going back again at beer bells. But for that, they did do a good job getting people, boosting up the morale again. And so they still do this every 7 years. During the Fasching, call it in Germany, it's like Mardi Gras time before Lent. They'll come out and do the dances in the open squares. And you can hire them for your wedding and birthday parties and things. 2012 will be the next time. So you see them quite often in parties. So when they come back to the square here, mostly it's in the market. Where we'll enter to is just behind the building. Big open market. That's pretty much it. Huge ending celebration of the Glockenspiel. There are two men after music, the little bird above them both, the yellow bird. We'll do a huge ending performance by clapping. Little yellow guy above them. Nothing too spectacular. So if we're still here, I'll mention it. Otherwise, you would never see it unless I told you. That's a pretty elaborate setup for all the years. I thought that as well until I went to Salzburg, and they have some really nice ones with a whole entire city with about 1,000 moving parts. And these are even older, dating back, using water power. Okay. So they had a little more elaborate ones, but this is by far the biggest and the most famous one. It's not the biggest one. So, we had 4 big kings in Munich ruling called the Kingdom of Bavaria, from 1806 to 1886. I'll talk about them a lot in Munich. They did the most with how the city looks today, construction-wise, our big royal avenues in Munich, the Residence Palace that we'll see, and some of our festivals and our beer we have here as well. Most of it had to do with just 4 kings out of a 700-year line of ruling. Other guys didn't do too much here in Munich, but I'll mention a couple of them. And you see all the little statues on the new town hall. So this is all around this entire building. There's the statues of the king. The main 4 guys that I mentioned are set out on the first balcony above where you guys mentioned. 4 statues there with flowers. So I'll quiz you on these guys later. On the far left we have King Maximilian I, the first ruler in the city. To the right of him, King Ludwig. To the right of him, his son King Maximilian II. To the right of him, King Ludwig I. The crazy kid me too much. So the castle, yeah. He's the guy at one time I'll talk about the least because he hated the city of Munich. He didn't like being in town, as you know, he built a big castle. So not a lot to do in Munich. The other guys that build a lot here have their own little avenues. So, to bring us up a couple hundred years in Munich, 15th century now, we have mentioned the oldest church here here, all across the street. There's another church behind these buildings. These would be monasteries, monks living here and building the big Catholic churches. And these being the only 2 in the 15th century, growing too small for the population of Munich. So they decide to build a nice big one. But before you see that, take a look at the little bird. We'll end this big performance. That's it? No, there's 3 of them. Yeah.
Like a real